What's up guys, Kyle here again, and today we are going to compare the Celestion Vintage 30 and the Warehouse Gutiar Speakers Veteran 30. Let's do it! Alright, hope you guys are doing great out there today. So the format of this video is going to be, I have two of the same cab with two separate speakers with two of the same mic, with the same mic position, going into the same audio interface. I'm trying to do this as scientifically possible as my current setup allows in order to give you guys a clear picture of the differences of these two speakers. So the Veteran 30 has long been a popular alternative to the Vintage 30. The Veteran 30 is supposed to be a smoother, warmer version of the Vintage 30. It kind of kills off a lot of those spiky upper mids that a lot of people complain about on the Vintage 30. Now, I personally like the spiky upper mids of the Vintage 30 because it works well for my style of music for cutting through a mix. So this EVH cab has the Veteran 30s loaded up. This EVH cab has the Vintage 30s loaded up. Both cabinets have an SM57 on the speaker where the dust cap meets the cone at the same height. And we also have a room mic behind the camera that is set directly in between the two cabs that will pick up the differences of each in the room. That's how we're gonna do it. We've got the EVH 5150 50 watt stealth amp. I have my Schecter with a Duncan full shred in the bridge. We are going to play a low gain riff, a mid gain riff, and a boosted high gain riff, compare back and forth between each speaker. Then I will grab my guitar, do a drop C riff, and then finally, we will plug in both speaker cabs and I will combine the speakers so you guys can hear how they sound mixed. Both cabinets are 16 ohm, so each speaker in each cabinet is 8 ohm. So yeah, that's as close as I could get things to give you guys the truest comparison of each speaker. So let me know your thoughts about this format down in the comments. That way moving forward, I know whether you guys think it's a good one to use or not. Now, on the EVH, I have not dialed it into either cab. I literally have not even played yet. I just need to adjust my volume. I set the EQ controls on the blue channel at 666. And then I have the resonance at noon, and I have the presence at 11 o'clock here, and it's gonna remain that way for both, so I'm not going to be dialing in the amp into each speaker. I want to show you guys the differences with the same settings, so that's how it's gonna be. All right, guys, so let's start with that first riff. We are going to start with the Vintage 30 and then move to the Veteran 30. Real quick before we jump into this, if this is your first time here at my channel, what I do is I take awesome high gain amps, speakers, cabinets, overdrives, and pickups, record them with a simple SM57 setup, and give you guys the unprocessed audio. So if you're into East End or thrash riffs and guys who wear tank tops year round, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss my next video. Thanks. Okay guys, let's jump into this. We are gonna start with the Vintage 30. Let's go. All right guys, so first impressions are the Vintage 30 is much spikier in the high mids. It's a much brighter speaker, not super full sounding, whereas the Veteran 30 is very warm, almost to the point of sounding flat, and it has a larger low end, but that could be perceived because the mids on the Vintage 30 are so intense in comparison that it just kind of comes forward and you're not really getting the bass effect from those speakers. So mid-gain riff. Okay guys, lastly, we're gonna kick an overdrive on and hear how it sounds for some really high gain tones. Okay guys, let's hear that same last riff through the room mic. Okay guys, now we are on drop C, so let's see how each speaker handles lower frequencies. Okay guys, that's gonna do it for all the riffs between these speakers. Now what I personally am hearing is, again, the V30 much brighter in the upper mid frequencies and top end overall. The Veteran 30 is a lot warmer, it's a lot fuller sounding to my ears. It's perceived a little bit quieter, but I really just think that that's because the mids are so prominent on the V30 that it just seems louder to the ear. Honestly, it's hard for me to pick one over the other. The V30 is such a tried and true classic speaker that when you EQ the amp specifically to the speaker, it sounds just amazing. This particular amp is a little on the bright side to begin with, unless you have the treble and the presence dialed back a little bit. So I'm gonna plug in both cabs, do a final riff, and we'll see how these cabs sound when they're paired together. I'm gonna guess that they're gonna sound pretty good because they seem like they would complement each other quite well. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for me today. What did you guys think? Which speaker did you prefer? What did you hear on your end that I did not hear here in the room? I'm very curious to hear your thoughts on this. Leave your comments down below on this video and I will meet you down there to talk about it. Again, please, if you like this video, hit the like button on the way out, consider subscribing, check my support links, as well as my Patreon, my Discord server, and my Facebook group. I would love to chat with you guys more often. Kyle here again. We'll see you next time.